Okay, this is my room for tonight. This was 18 euros with breakfast on booking.com. And I think it's called something apartment hotel. So it's just a bathroom. It's nice and clean. Just everything's lovely. When I came into this town, it must be a real tourist town because like all the shops had, closed, see you next season in there, closing down party, everything like that. There's the air conditioner up there. So even if it gets cold tonight, which it probably will, I'll be snug as a bug in a rug. And I just wanted to show you this. So that hill there, or mountain, doesn't have any snow on it, but it's getting close. That's what I've got to walk over tomorrow, I'm pretty sure. And look, you can see they let the pool go green in the off season. It's got a little balcony too. So $18 with breakfast. And I asked where breakfast was. And she said she'll bring the breakfast to me because I'm the only guest. So what are my thoughts from today? Well, it was a good day. The two ups were very manageable. So they were definitely up, but the path was okay. So the first up from Fethiye, it was basically an old stone road that crisscrossed the main road a couple of times. And it had good views and everything like that. The second one, which started at the old abandoned village of Kayaköy, was just a bare path. So it was like a single trail path. Sometimes it was hard to find and other times it was very clear. But it was very doable. So it was about 15 kilometers. I only got lost like 3 times today and only very shortly. The app that I'm using is called Trail Smart and it is excellent and it costs nothing. So if you want to come and do this walk, use Trail Smart. You only have to pay if you get the offline maps. But I've just got the online maps and they work perfectly. So it's really good. It was interesting and really nice. The only thing that was a little bit negative, the first little part from Fethiye, you could still hear the road most of the time. But for the second half, you couldn't hear a road. You were off into the bush and it was very good. And the road that you could hear in the morning was not busy at all. So my feet hurt. I've definitely got a blister on my little toe. Tomorrow we might go through my fantastic hiking boots. Everybody says you have to have good hiking boots to do this trail. Well, I've got big flippers and they're impossible to get boots or shoes in Turkey. They sort of cap out at 11s and I've got size 14s. So no new hiking boots for me. Good morning. I'm at the start of the second day's hiking and I'm at the very start on the map. And there's this useful map that's up posted that shows you the trekking for today and all the surrounding bike paths and all the surrounding treks for the whole area. And let me tell you, the mountain which is to the right of me looks pretty scary. So very shortly you'll have a very puffy and out of fit Charlie cursing the day he decided to do this. Cursing! But not now. Now I'm happy. Starting to gain some elevation and the views of the ocean are opening up. I'm going past lots and lots of beehives. So, I've noticed in the local stores, there's lots of honey and it seems to be a favorite of the Turkish people. And I can see that they really embrace this by having lots and lots of beehives. There's a chairlift, which might be a very viable way of missing this mountain. I'm not 100% sure, but it's a moot point because it's not working at the moment. But I think I would investigate it if it was, because the mountain keeps on going up further and further. It seems to keep going. The chairlift seems to go to the top. Okay, I'm a couple of kilometers into today's walk and the walking's been very easy. The path has been very wide and, it's uphill, but only a little bit. I've gained some altitude, as you can see, and the views are just spectacular. So you're just walking along like a cliff with the views. I've come to the end of the sort of forestry road and we're about to start on like a single trail path, which you can see behind me. and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be lovely. I walked about 1 kilometre on the new trail, the single track. There's been some scrambling, but the trail's in pretty good condition. It's definitely a trail now though, so you can sort of see it in the background there. I could hear all these like murmurings and I couldn't work out. I thought, oh, maybe somebody's in front of me and I'll just catch them up. And so I sped up a little bit, but I've worked out what it is. There's paragliders above me, you know, so there's a whole lot of them above me sort of flying, and I'm hearing their voices as they talk to each other or yell out to each other. So I won't bother showing you, but because you know you won't pick it up, but there's about 10 of them above me. It gives me something else to think about as I'm walking along. They look like they're having an awfully good fun. As I've been hiking, I've come across a few camping areas. This one is a sort of an example of them. There's been nobody at them and they look like they haven't been used in a while. But you see it's got a little rudimentary table over there. There's a fire pit here. And, you know, there's a sort of rudimentary shelter there if you wanted to camp under a shelter. And back up there, there's a water christian. So there's a water source. You know, and, you know, behind you have the mountain, which is pretty spectacular. And you have this fantastic view. So you can imagine camping just there and having that view to wake up with, having a fire, having your own little table, and really enjoying the solitude. One thing I would say is there's also a bit of a garbage dump over there as well, where hikers have just left all their shit lying around, and that's very disconcerting. You should remove what you put in, you know, so leave no trace. That said, other than in these areas, I've not seen any garbage at all. Like, so it's been really clean and beautiful. The path is challenging now, by the way. So challenging, which is great. I'd say it's a world-class hiking trail, and I'd encourage people to come and do it. I can't believe there's nobody else here. Like, it's like I got the whole place to myself, which is great in some ways and a little bit disappointing in others. But you know, like, I cannot believe there's nobody here because it is so lovely and the temperature is probably 18 degrees. You know, you couldn't get better. We've got the cows on the track, just sort of wandering around. They have a kind of beautiful view. So, almost finished house. Looks like it's been almost finished for a long time, looking at the rust. But it's going to have a beautiful view when somebody finally does finish it. Yeah, so just me sharing the path with the cows. Okay, this is what I'm walking towards, and gives you some sort of idea of the grandeur. That looks straight up and down, you know, and it's very steep and very bare, and I hope I'm not climbing it. That's all I can say. I mean, I'd kind of like to climb it, but it looks daunting. I think the trail goes up that gap in the middle there, which is going to be extreme if it does. I hope it doesn't. I come into the village, they sent out a welcoming party for me. You know, it's so nice of them. Here they are, little sheepy and goaties. There's a little sheepy and a goat. And there's another little sheep. That looks like a merino. You have to live the life. Life is hard. They make a lot of stuff out here out of stone. God bless them. And their retaining walls are like acts of, you know, like beauty, you know. But let's have a look at this one that's being built here. This looks pretty trendy. So we'll walk up together and have a quick look. You see that half round window at the top and the amazingly stark beauty of the mountain behind it? And then as we walk up, look at the size of the stones. They must knock them down to build them into the wall. And this whole building pad that we're on is obviously reclaimed land, like it's built up, held back by that massive retaining wall. As we go in the front door, You know, you can see the steps going up, which is just rough concrete. We won't go upstairs, but look at the window in the great room. You know, it's a perfect round. And so is the one facing this way. It's perfect round. And then this will be where the swimming pool is. So the swimming pool will be here, overlooking the mountain. Pretty cool. This is a pretty impressive cliff that goes all the way down into the water. You know, I've been down to the water today, and I've been at the top of that hill over there. So it's been some dramatic up and some dramatic down.
G'day, hello, how are we? Today's gear review is going to be about the SLR 7.62 tactical walking stick. And we're going to have this review in front of this beautiful view. So, what do I like about this stick? Well, first of all, it is a stick. And for any off-road sort of walking, especially when you're changing elevations, I find it very difficult to safely move down slopes without a stick, especially on scree. It really steadies you, and I would firmly encourage anybody that's doing it to pick up a stick. Even if it's just one off the side of the road, just to steady you so you don't fall over. Okay, but these sticks are great because they collapse down and you can carry them all the time. And I like this one because it only has 4 different heights that you can choose, so you get used to it, where the friction ones, you know, have infinite heights, but you know, sometimes it's difficult to get back to the right height every time. So what else do I like about it? It's got a firm place to hold on to, and it's got a strap to hold it there, and also transfer some of the weight onto the strap, and it has a nice flat top. I picked this up at Decathlon. It was the cheapest stick that you can get there at 95 tels, which is about €5 or about $7 Australian. And it also has a good metal tip on the end for poking and also for biting in on rocks and hard surfaces. And it also has this dish that stops it sinking in too far in soft loamy surfaces. What don't I like about it is it's quite heavy, probably because of the internal, and also it's not made out of carbon fiber or anything like that. Other than that, I really quite like it. Any stick is better than no stick. It also works very well as a stick, and you can push the dogs away, and you can push away leaves and things like that as well with it, and branches. And, you know, the only problem with sticks like this is you can't take them on planes. So if you rely on carry-on luggage like I do, it has to be a shallow and quick relationship, because, you know, you wouldn't check this in as whole luggage just for this stick. So, but I would say they're very cheap to pick up, and you can also use branches if you really have to.
I've arrived at my accommodation, which is called Shiva Camp, and this is where I have dinner and breakfast here, so it's half board. And this is where I'm going to be having dinner and breakfast, so overlooking that view, which is spectacular. And then, you know, there's a little place here to sit. And then there's the mountain behind, so you've got the ocean in front of you, or the sea in front of you. And then this is my little cabin here, and you've got to go over a little walkway to get to it. And, you know, so it's very rustic, it's really nice. So there's my bed, and I'll show you the view, which I can see from in bed. So I can't see the water, but I can see, there's my pack, and the SLR 7.62 tactical walking stick, and there's the shower and bathroom. So there we go. And there's the air conditioning there as well. This is €22 a night, half board. So dinner and breakfast included. A bit of a recap about today. So I set off at 9 o'clock this morning after having a pretty great breakfast at the hotel. And I went down and I bought the bread for today, which is also that 5 tel bread. That's for lunch. And then I set off, and the views of walking along the coast are just spectacular. Like, look, I took some video. You've seen the video, but it doesn't really do it much credit. Again, I haven't seen any single walker since I set out from Fethiye, and today was exactly the same. Not a single walker. I had the tracks to myself. Probably about 20% of the track was on the road. I did get lost about 3 times today, and about 30%, maybe 40% of the the walk was road walking, but only about 10% of it was like sealed road walking. So, 30% was like a dirt road and not trafficked really at all. And then 10% was walking on the main road, which is trafficked very lightly. And then the rest was walking on single track, which I prefer a lot more. Like when you're walking on the single track, you have to be engaged. You have to be looking what you're doing. You have to be thinking about where your feet are going. And, it's a lot more pleasurable to walk on single track. So saying that, I like walking uphill on single track a lot better than I like walking downhill on single track because I feel the footing is a lot more secure. But all in all, it was a really great walk. I did 1.5 days walking today, and I think that's my limit at the moment. So I was pretty shagged by the time I got here. Started at 9, finished around 4:30 with about an hour for lunch. And, just ginning around a bit during the time as well. But pretty steady walking. Okay. Tomorrow is going to be another great day. We're really struggling to find some accommodation for tomorrow. So I think I'll just be knocking on doors or camping. I prefer not to camp, but if I have to, I will.
Will the fat man end up sleeping under a tree? Stay tuned for tomorrow's adventure.